My name is Sarah Chisholm and I am a professional ballerina. I've been a professional ballerina for 3 seasons with Ballet Arizona. The injury that I was diagnosed with that put me out of dance was stress fractures, bilateral stress fractures in my shins, in both of them. So where it came from was dancing and shin splints and then not healing and continuing that into a stress reaction, which turned into a fracture. And it came on just from overwork, and I continued it. And so then when I finally decided to go to a doctor, they shut me out of the season and told me I had to rest. Why I went to EVO was partially because I trusted this friend of mine, and I also was just like, why not? I want good results. I want fast results. And I'm kind of a person that's like, I would rather give everything and just really get it done than to just follow something and say, well, I hope this works. Fingers crossed, this gets me where I need to be. I need to be much more in control. That's the type of person that I am. I could not really wrap my head around what was happening to my body. You hooked me up to the ARP. This was supposed to first just find out where these hot spots were, finding where the injury was. And I remember distinctly when that ARP would hit the shin that was injured. It was everything. My entire body responded, which is funny because you think it's your shin, that's the only thing that would hurt. Well, it hurt my entire body, and I felt it in the strangest places. And the pain then for therapy was like, okay, I'm not gonna get better. Like, there's no way this is gonna help me. I think this is nuts. Because how would hurting myself so much help me? But then what I found was the first thing that we ever did together, you said, let's do what hurts the most, or let's show me what hurts. So I did it, and I'm hooked up to the ARP and I'm almost in tears, and I stumble out of here, and then I'm doing it on my own in my house, and it doesn't hurt. And that was just the beginning. That was the first day. And so from then on, I knew, okay, this is gonna suck. But now I'm addicted to it. So while I was seeing a physical therapist, which was suggested by my doctor, I was secretly, or not secretly, but not sharing the fact that I was going with the EVO system, and that I every morning was getting up and doing the trainings before I would even enter the physical therapy room to do the exercises that they had given. And what they were noticing was my increased strength, even though I wasn't doing any sort of ballet movements. And I was maintaining, which is a shock to me, I was maintaining the ability to hold rotation and hold muscles that are usually only used during ballet in therapy, and so I was always, we're control freaks as dancers, and I would be going into the EVO training and saying, I don't want to work turned in, I have to work turned out, and I don't want to use too much of my quads because I need to use other muscles. And then I would go into therapy and do exercises that were very ballet specific, and I had more strength than I had ever had doing them. And they were noticing this progress and asking, not really asking, just kind of being proud about it and saying, this is really great, we're on the right track, this is good. And so I was like, okay, well, clearly I wouldn't have gotten here if I hadn't been using EVO. Because I had been seeing them before. I had been seeing them while I was dancing and injured, and somehow when I was more injured and not seeing them as much, I was getting better results than when I had been. It was probably the worst pain I have ever put myself through purposefully. So there's something about it, I don't know what was triggered in my brain, but there was never a moment, even when it was the most awful day that I had experienced in any sort of physical training. It was the most, I've had a couple of the worst days I've ever experienced in physical training here, but there was never a moment that I was like, I'm not coming back. There was never a morning when I woke up and didn't know that I was coming back. So clearly my body was feeling a change. clearly there was something that was happening with me that kept me wanting to go. And I don't really know why I did it. Looking back, I think it's a little crazy, but there was no other option for me, because I had never felt so good so fast. I had never recovered so quickly before, and I had never experienced a system that was going to help me figure out my body forever, not just through the injury and then release me. I think the biggest thing that I'm getting and will continue to get from the EVO system and EVO Ultrafit is an ownership of my body. And what it gives everybody is an ownership of their body, and how to manipulate it so that it is not just things happening to us. You don't walk around, we walk around in life and we say, why is this happening to me? This is all just happening to my body. It's not. And what it has taught me is that I can control what happens to my body. And if something does happen to it that I wasn't predicting, I can figure out how to fix it. I can figure out how to make it better. It is no longer a guessing game or a shot in the dark. Will this help me? Will I be okay? Will I make it through this? I know how to do it. I would warn somebody who's interested in trying EVO to be prepared to lose everything that they think they know for a minute or a couple minutes. You have to be prepared to surrender to the idea that you don't know anything about what you thought you knew. And for example, for me, I was, our bodies are what we use. They are our instrument, and I thought that I understood it. We have to think about where everything goes and how everything is placed. So I believed that I knew my body, and I believed I knew how to control my body. And I get hooked up into an ARP, and I can't control my body, and I can't do anything that I thought that I knew how to do. So I would warn somebody that you're going to go through this period of the unknown, of the unsure, and thinking, this can't be right for me because I don't know how to do it. But then you'll find yourself, I promise, not wanting to give it up.